Are you listening? This ain't no quiet thing. We're screaming out our lungs. Hey, are you listening? Hey, are you there? Hey, are you listening? Or do you just not
Well, all right. Welcome to Hey, Are You Listening? This is a podcast exploring the past, present, and future of Christian music. My name is Joel. I'm here with my good friend Brandon, and we connected over a mutual love of some particular artists, but also have pretty different tastes when it comes to things. So we get to expose each other to new stuff while sometimes inviting some friends along for the ride. And we have a friend back with us today. She was our first guest ever on the podcast. I think that's right? And just so also happens to be married to Brandon. It's Jordan, everybody.
Surprise.
We're so glad you're back. This, I think officially, Jordan, makes you the most frequent guest.
I think so, because this is number three.
Number three,
right?
Yeah, we've had a few number twos,
Mm-hmm.
but you're the first number three.
I'm the first number 3.
Congratulations.
3, baby. I just turned 33, so how appropriate.
That's perfect. Perfect. It couldn't be any better.
Mm-hmm.
Well, today we are talking about something that's different than what we've normally done. We're going to cover an EP, so not a full-length record, but just a few songs. The EP, Everything You Ever Wanted by Grace Graber. And so I'm looking forward to talking about that. But before we get into it, it's time to check the mail.
check the mail? Check the mail. Who, what, when, how, why? Check the mail.
All right. Well, today our friend of the show, Sarah, writes this in. Dear Brandon and Joel, why do you think the Christian music industry shifted from CCM, contemporary Christian music, to worship? When do you think that shift started happening? And do you think that things will ever go back? What do you guys think about this? It's a big question. We've touched on this a little bit, but it's kind of one of the big themes that's happened out there in the world of Christian music. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
I think I feel like there's like that really like short answer that's it's not the purest of heart when it's like this is the reason. But I think that for me the shift started, I would say maybe 2009 or 2010 is when I started noticing it, because there was bands that I really loved and they were putting out stuff that was really cool. And then all of a sudden, they would get this radio hit, and they would realize, oh, this gets a lot more plays, a lot more money, a lot more like recognition. And so there was this shift to that's what like radio wants. That's what people want. So let's put that out there. So I feel like for me, and it might be like a cynical like a reason, I think a lot of it has to do with like money. And I think that you can either say it as an artist being greedy, which I think that's not fair for a lot of artists, or you can say it's the supply and demand, that, you know, I can criticize that band, but if they have 1 million people that want to hear them sing worship songs and there's only 10,000 of me that want them to write whatever, you know, it doesn't make sense to, you know, like stick to that. But I think for me, it comes down to like a money thing. And I personally think that with the rise of like indie record labels, and I think with streaming, I think that you kind of are getting to see a little bit of combating that, where it's not these gatekeepers to radio. You have people that are able to put out whatever. Like I think about 15 years ago, like if I wanted to put out music, it would be, how do I get on a label? How do I get a band? How do we do whatever? Whereas now it's like, I could tonight, me and you could go to your house and say, hey, let's record some stuff. and we could have it on Spotify within an hour or two. So I think that we're kind of starting to see, at least in my opinion, a returning to, there's a place for worship, but there's also a place for, like faith. I feel like faith inspired is maybe better than CCM or Christian music. But like punk and rock and metal and just every other genre out there.
But Brandon, this is worship. How can worship be about money?
Well,
You can't even say that without laughing. Because I feel like that's my same reasoning. It's all money driven because a lot of artists, if they're signed onto a record label, they're not making decisions. The record label is making the decision. And at the end of the day, it's a business. And so they're selling what's selling. And if a nice, light, airy song about like driving and seeing God in the driving is released, it's not going to get as many listens as a song about who God is and what he's done for us. So I feel like that is the main reason is just the money and what is popular. But I do agree that like kind of late 2000s, 2010s, that era, I think we saw such a rise with like Hillsong and Elevation and all of those type of bands that only did worship songs. And so I think because they became so popular, that's what the record labels were like, "Oh, this is what we need to release." But now we're having more artists come out with just regular Christian songs, and it's not worship songs, and they're becoming more popular. But I think because of the shift of having TikTok and Instagram, that they're releasing their stuff on there, and so the audiences are there finding them. So then that's driving up sales for those types of artists. So yes, it is money.
Yeah, and you probably can't argue that it's not, at least at its base, a money thing. Because certainly, I think that this did start from record labels making decisions. The interesting thing is, most artists today probably aren't that impacted by the desires of a label anymore because labels don't actually do a lot for artists. I know that people are still on labels. And so in like the really big artist situations, it's probably the case, but so many people now are just doing their own thing, or they're part of a collective instead of a label, or whatever it may be. And so I feel like that influence is gone. In some ways you see how that changes the industry, but a lot of people are still putting out worship music even in the midst of that. But probably because that's what's popular and that's what people are listening to. And so, and you hate to say, well, that's because it's about money, but ultimately that's certainly a big part of it. What can you guys remember? What's the first artist that you can think of that like was like just a Christian artist that like released a worship record? Can you think of the earliest version of that?
I think the first one that comes to mind, because there was people that were going more CCM, but I think full on worship was Jeremy Camp. I remember him being like, he had I think it was Stay, and then he released that. He did do a random worship project like early in his career. Then he had Beyond Measure, Speaking Louder Than Before, and then there was I think it was We Cry Out maybe of his. And I feel like from that point on it went all like worship. And you know, I think for me it was weird, and I think maybe this it kind of just soured me on worship for a long time, was that I almost felt like deserted by like artists. Like I felt like hey, I was here when you guys were like doing y'all's thing and I appreciated it, but then it felt like other people showed up and it was like, this is the cooler crowd. Like we want to be the people getting the Dove Awards. We want to get the people that are getting like asked to be in the Pureflix movies or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, so for me, it was kind of just this, oh, I guess if you do worship stuff, like you're selling out. And like it soured me on worship music like for years. Like I had, it wasn't just that I don't care for this. It was like an active, like, no, we're not, like, you like that, like it was a, and I think that's, like I said, just comes from feeling like, why are you guys like this isn't who you are. Like and I think what's sad is I think some of those are the bands that you see ultimately come out and they're deconstructing and all, because it felt like they were at this point where they're like, man, we're making music we like, we're talking about Jesus, and all of a sudden it's every night well, you guys need a little more Jesus, or oh, you went out there and mentioned like that you watched the football game, well, you can't watch that team because their quarterback's not a Christian, or it just felt like it's everything is planned whenever money comes into the picture.
So yeah, Jeremy Camp's first worship record was 2010. So there were artists like A Third Day that put out their first worship record, Offerings. It was their fourth album in 2000. And so there were bands doing this like really early on, and that's not the only worship record that they released. They put out more after that. Michael W. Smith's like Worship, it's called Worship, album that he released was his first big record in a while when it came out. It came out in 2001, and then he released a second one in 2002. And so you saw a shift of a guy who's like done even progressive, like on the edge of Christian music and mainstream. In 2001, all of a sudden he's putting out a worship record, and then he puts out another worship record. And it hasn't, like, he's kind of kept to that cadence a little bit of just releasing worship music. Then I went back and looked, and we just talked about Petra on a previous episode. Their first worship record, Petra Praise, came out in 1989.
Man.
So talk about a band that's ahead of the times when it comes to this stuff.
They had their finger on the pulse.
They did, I guess. But that's just kind of interesting to me that I do think there was a moment when worship music killed the industry. And I think you're right. That probably was somewhere in the late 2000s, around 2010. But things were progressing in that direction for a while before they actually got there. And by the time you get to 2010, it's either, well, you're making worship records or you're not making any music, because we're not going to release anything other than this because this is the only thing that's selling right now. And so it just does really interesting things to an industry. But I think you're right. You guys are right in the sense that with indie labels and people more focused on even just releasing singles for online for TikTok or for whatever, then there's creativity begins to step in again, and artists get to make what they want to make versus what somebody tells them to make. And so one of the main reasons that Brandon, wanted to even do this podcast is because we felt like there was a rebirth happening of something that this idea of what it means to be a Christian making music was shifting back to something and beginning to be reborn. And so it's kind of fun to be able to talk about this while we kind of feel it happening and see it happening. So yeah, any other thoughts on this?
I don't think so.
Well, Sarah, thanks for that question. Don't forget that you can reach out to us with your own questions for us to talk about on the podcast. Just email heyareyoullisteningpod@gmail.com, and we'll look forward to answering your questions on the air as well. But now, let's play a game.
Let's play, let's play. It's time to play a game. Let's play, it's time to play a game.
All right. Well, today we're going to play another round of CCM 20 questions. Jordan, I know you're excited about this.
I'm so excited, but also very nervous because I like to win, but I don't think I'm gonna win.
Well, you never know. And so here's how 20 questions works. You get to ask 20 yes or no questions, and I will answer them simply with a yes or a no. And the goal is that you move in the direction of honing in on a specific album. So if you get to an artist first and you want to say, is it this artist? I'll give you a yes or no. But the goal is that you hone in on the album that I have in my head for them. And see if you can get there within 20 questions. So before we start counting the questions, do you have any questions about the game itself?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Brandon, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. Let's do it. Ask away.
Is this band, does it feature a female lead singer?
No.
Okay. That's always my go-to question. It's like,
Is it a band?
Yes.
next, is it AI? No. Was this band popular? Like, would you say the height of their popularity was between 2000 and 2010?
Yes.
Okay.
Both of you looked at me and I've got nothing. Is the album genre rock?
In a broad sense, yes.
That answers nothing.
Was this band on Tooth and Nail Records?
No.
Was this band on Goatee Records?
Yes.
Brandon, you got to bring it home.
Okay. That only narrows it down to 30 people. Does this band feature 4 gentlemen in it? Or historically, is it represented by 4 people?
I think for the most part, yes.
Okay.
I think that's 7 questions.
I haven't been keeping track, so oh goodness. So you said it was rock-ish, early 2000s or 2000s, 2010. Oh, are they still popular today? I.e., like still a band making music?
Hang on, I'll answer that question in just a second.
Have
I
to do some research.
don't want to mislead you. I probably should do a better job of thinking about these things ahead of time.
The longer you're waiting, because I feel like I know what band you're talking about, but the more you're having to research it, the more I'm like,
I will say yes. I think technically this band is not broken up.
Okay.
is this band House of Heroes?
No,
Oh,
that's 10.
oh man, I was getting really cocky there for a second because I'm like, I know who it is. I'll just play around a little bit.
She said 2000s, 2010, rock-ish. 4
Oh.
members.
Okay, you know this band?
I do?
Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea who this is.
Is the band Reliant K?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I do know this band. Okay, so is the album, was it 5 score and
You're just going straight into that?
yeah.
So I wasn't clear on this.
I can't ask if it
If
it
you
is.
ask an album and you're wrong, that ends the game.
Oh no.
So make sure you know the album before
Okay.
you.
Here's a question.
Okay.
Does the album cover have an overhead shot of them with the like sepia filter photo?
No.
Does this album does it feature a trailer?
On the cover?
Oh, gee, no, I forgot. That's like 2 albums. Does this album is the band on the cover of the album, or is it? Or yeah, is the band like is the members of Reliant K on the cover?
No.
Okay.
Is it the album with a flower on it?
Yes.
Oh gosh, what's the name of that one? It's a yellow flower with the like, one of the petals is kind of falling. It's Reliant. Is it the? No, I can't ask that.
I'm glad you said that because I forgot completely about that. I literally
What
jumped
is
from
that album?
Is the album called
Yes, you got it. I think that's on
Yes.
15.
Oh man.
So isn't this one of the more like popular
Yes.
Reliant
Yeah.
K records? Maybe the most popular Reliant K record?
Yeah, probably.
I'm
I
trying.
feel like that one in the 5 score.
Yeah.
That one. I don't even know the second part of the title of that one. Is it 5 score? And
Yeah. And I don't
So
know.
I jumped immediately in my brain. I thought of 5 score and 7 years ago. So that one, and then I immediately went to the 2 lefts don't make a right.
Yeah.
And I forgot all about
Well, you guys got there, and that's good. So congratulations.
I shouldn't have been nervous.
our friend Miranda's gonna be really upset that it took us that long.
Yeah.
She's kind of a like the Reliant K historian of the group.
Yeah.
So
Because like I've always liked Reliant K, but again, I found them through LimeWire, so there were no pictures of any albums on anything, and it was all just like, hey, here you go, here's a big old stack of music. No like filing into any album. It was just song, song, song.
Yeah.
So I just listened to all the songs. Didn't know where they belonged, but I liked them.
That's really awesome. Yeah, I got into Reliant K like even before their first record came out. Somehow I got a pre-release like cassette with 2 of the songs on it or something, and then listened to it. But that's fun. Yeah, I'm glad you guys were able to land on it. So thought it would be fitting considering the fact that we're dealing with something in the pop punk territory
Yeah.
today. So, all right, well, let's talk a little bit about what we've been listening to lately. What have you guys been listening to?
I was revisiting the Classic Crime, their Vagabonds album.
It's a Tooth and Nail band, right? Mm-hmm. Congratulations.
Thank you. And in preparation for this, we kind of got into a discussion about like what is pop punk, because like you go on the internet and there's a lot of just random things that people are saying. Oh, this band's pop punk. This one, because like House of Heroes was listed as like pop punk, and I was like, that's not like. I don't see them as that. And even the Classic Crime, I was playing this album and I'm like, this doesn't strike me as pop punk. And so I just started listening. And so yeah, it's this album and then a lot of just playing random things and being like, I don't think this, like, what is pop punk? Which I guess we'll discuss in a little bit. But yeah, I would say that Classic Crime, Vagabonds, is what I've been having on repeat recently.
Cool. Yeah.
I feel like for me, I've been listening to, well, a lot of Grace Graber, which we're going to cover, and then also some Christian pop punk bands as well. I've been listening, like, there's a couple of the Almost songs, then
Do you
Reliant
consider
K.
the almost pop punk?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I would. They're a little bit heavier, but
I would not consider them.
I feel like they're more punk, but I feel like they're pop because they're more like popular. So, but them, Relient K, a band called Run Kid Run. Have you heard of them?
Yep.
I like them. But yeah, those kind of bands, and then Stellar Cart. I've had a lot of Stellar Cart on repeat lately.
Nice.
Throwing it back.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
What I've been listening to isn't pop punk, but Brandon, it's actually something that you recommended that I actually took the time to stop and listen to. And it's that, I don't know how to say it, Fepeste.
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
This world ain't mine to change. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. It's, I mean, the vocals are kind of interesting, but the music I really like. It's chill, but it's catchy. There's a lot of like Beach Boys vibes, which I love the Beach Boys. So, so I like the production and the like, just the simplicity, but creativity that's there in it. So
That's what I was revisiting that the other day. And I think that's just what has stuck with me is that it's just so simple that I could see someone not liking it. But I think that's just what impresses me is that I have I've listened through it so many times and I've yet to get like tired of it or be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is kind of like wore out's welcome. So, but that's pretty cool. I'm glad. I feel like Velvet Blue right now is just leading the way in like producing like stuff that's just all over the map, but just quality with each release.
yeah, it's pretty fun. All right, so obviously we want to get into this conversation about Grace Graber, but we've had kind of an interesting conversation about this idea of pop punk. So I don't know if you guys want to talk more about this, like what is pop punk, before we start talking about this EP specifically. But Brandon, you kind of brought up this idea. Like, what are your thoughts there?
I told Jordan that I feel like pop punk. When I think of pop punk, I think of you have a guitar that's just going fast, so it's just like the, and then you have someone doing something on drums, and then you have a singer that has to both go. He has to be like nasally, but then also he has to go like whoa or oh. There's a lot of just thrown into there. That's what I think of when I hear of pop punk.
I think of like a little bit of a whaley guitar, but very like sharp guitar as well. And then drums, there's a lot of like kicks with the drums. It's very sharp. It's not like a loosey goosey melodic type rhythm. It's like don't instead of like dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
I'm sure if Chris Blanchard was here, he would definitely agree with my take on it.
And I do feel like you do need a very distinct voice.
I agree.
I feel like it helps whenever you have that like little accent type, almost like a Blink-182 sort of sound. I feel like that lends itself to that pop punk sound.
Yeah, so I think that you guys are right for the most part on this. I think that the drums are super key to this, and I think you're right. And just that there's like a steady beat. It's not a lot of flow or feel.
Yeah,
it's just kind of a really steady kind of hit. And in more punk territory, and even in a lot of pop punk, you'll get like the really fast kick and snare, like that happens. And so you see more of that in punk, but it shows up in pop punk pretty frequently. Like if you listen to a band like MXPX or Slick Shoes, more 90s punk, you're probably going to see more of that than 2000s punk. Punk kind of mellowed out a little bit in the 2000s and got a little more easier on the ears. And so, but so I think you guys are right about that. And the vocals and the guitars, you get a lot of just power chords that are happening in punk rock. and a lot of playing fast. Bass playing, you gotta have a good bass player for a
Yeah.
punk band.
Mm-hmm.
That's a key thing. So, yeah, I don't consider the Almost to be a punk band, a pop punk band.
What do you consider them?
Just like I think they were trying to be like an emo rock band. Back in that day, Aaron Gillespie was at Under Oath, and he wanted to do something a little chiller. And so that was a step back from Under Oath into more just like an indie emo rock thing. But I do like the Almost for sure.
See, I would argue that they are pop punk because Under Oath is more heavy,
Right.
like the heavy screams and more rock guitar and drums. Whereas the Almost is a little bit of an uptick in the rhythm. It's like faster rhythm, which is pop punk.
Do you have any ideas on this, Brandon?
Have you even heard any the Almost songs?
Yeah, I've heard. I feel like I wouldn't put them on because when I think of the Almost, I think of the Monster EP, and then I think of like Southern Weather. So I feel like I definitely put it more into like a rock category. Yeah, because when I think of like pop punk, I think of like Hawk Nelson, Capital Lights. I'm trying to think of who else. Like FM Static, I think, is a really good example of pop punk. But I feel like it's just kind of this weird. It's almost like alternative. Like there's some stuff where I'm like alternative bleeds so much.
Yeah.
There's stuff that I think, oh, that's not rock. That's like alternative rock, or that's not whatever. It's like alternative or indie. So
They're definitely a blend of things. So Google AI would say that they're primarily an alternative rock band with strong ties to emo, post-grunge, and alternative CCM. Although when it lists styles later, it says alternative rock, emo / pop punk, post-grunge. So there's definitely some
They're-
influence in there.
Yeah, they're all of the above.
Yeah, for sure. First pop punk band that you ever listened to?
I don't even remember. But I know that I liked it after I listened to it. Because that's my favorite genre of music.
Yeah. You liked it, but not well enough to remember who
Yeah,
they
well,
were.
I think I feel like I heard it and then I did a deep dive into I need more of this. And I probably listened to like 20 different artists all in one day. Just like eating and consuming as
Right.
much as I could. So I feel like I don't even remember, but I remember I used to really like Forever the Sickest Kids. And that was kind of like, I guess, Forever the Sickest Kids and maybe Family Force 5. Those two. I'm going to say that because I just remember hearing them and saying, oh man, I need more of this. And then I would just spend hours on YouTube, like just watching videos of all of these like different pop punk bands and
Yeah.
all of the music videos and things. And I was like, man, I love this. So,
That's cool.
yeah.
for me, it's Hawk Nelson.
Yeah.
I think back to their Friend Like That album. They came to Winter Jam one year, and after that, like I dove in, and then I think after that, like then came like Reliant K and all, because I found Reliant K from from Goatee Records. So I think that Reliant K was kind of more of a 2009. But I think it was like I knew a few of their songs. But Hawk Nelson was the first that I like bought an album and I could tell you like about the band. So I think Hawk Nelson would fall into that for me.
Cool. I think the first true pop punk that I ever heard was probably Green Day, from their album Dookie. But When I Come Around and all those songs there. And yeah, it was unlike anything I'd ever heard. And I'm like, I need this in my life. And then there wasn't much. in the Christian world, there were bands like One Bad Pig that came out of the 80s that were like Christian punk bands, but they were a little more edgier punk. And so it wasn't until I went to my local Christian bookstore and looked at the poster of, if you like blah, 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 you will like, and it said, if you like Green Day, you will like MXPX. And they had one record out, their first record on Tooth and Nail, called Pokin' At Ya, and I bought it, and it changed my life. Not at all anywhere close to being their best record, or maybe even a good record, but I loved it.
But a record nonetheless.
Yes. And I was a huge MXPX fan after that. And so, yeah. All right, well, let's transition and talk about this Grace Graber EP. All right, so just some info on this. Grace Graber released her EP, Everything You Ever Wanted, on October 10th, 2025. So this is a new, recent record. We're talking current. And the EP is named after the Hawk Nelson cover, which Graber chose after being asked that same question by someone in the music industry. The project serves as a lifeline for Graber, documenting her realization that she needed to rely on God's strength rather than her own during a period of intense burnout. So this is a 4-track EP put out by Grace. It is the first long-form anything that I've ever listened to by her. But I'd love just kind of some opening thoughts for you guys. Like, how did you start listening to Grace Graber, and where did she kind of enter into the picture musically?
For me, she's pulling a Josiah Queen. She showed up on TikTok, and I had seen her, and I kind of just like scrolled past, but then I started watching more, and she actually covered the Forrest Frank Lemonade song, and was like, what if Forrest Frank went punk? And then she played her song, and I argue it's better than the original. But that's how I first saw her. And then I started having more and more things come up on like TikTok and Instagram. And I know she got a lot of hate from people who were like, you're a Christian, you need to act like one, because they didn't like that she was dancing around on stage and she wore shorts and had a crop top on, but she was saying that she was a Christian. I was like, she's talking about Jesus in her songs. How much more Christian can you be as an artist? Like, you're presenting the gospel every single night at your shows.
Yeah.
Like, what does it matter? But I just like really started following her on Instagram, and then I heard more and more songs from her come up, and then Brandon actually, he showed me, I don't even remember what song it was, but it might have been the Pressure song. Brandon was like, hey, have you heard this girl? She sounds really cool. I think you'll like her. And he showed me a song, and I was like, Brandon, I've been listening to this girl. I know her. I like her. So that's how I found her.
That's cool. What about you, Brandon?
Yeah, for me, she came up on, I don't know what it was on Spotify. I don't know if it was just, it came up maybe, when you finish an album, it'll start playing suggested ones or related ones. And so her cover of Everything You Ever Wanted came on there. And I felt like it was like really cool. And so I kind of just started like diving in, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Cause I even featured her on my like best releases of last year. And, I said that I feel like I'm transported back to like the early to mid 2000s for all the right reasons. And, so I just felt like it was really cool to have someone that was taking this sound that was so instrumental in so many like people's lives back then, and now she is doing that again. It was kind of like a few years ago. I'm trying to think of who. I know I'm going to mess up her name, but there's this girl. She's like really popular, but she does like kind of this like pop punk, like Avril Lavigne type thing. Is it
I don't even know who you're talking
like
about. Olivia Rodrigo?
I think so. I might be mixing it up, but it's kind
She
of
sounds like the Paramore song.
yeah.
Yeah, Olivia Rodrigo.
It was kind of that whole thing that I was like, oh, this is cool that there's this person doing this like sound that like was way popular back then, but now is maybe not. So yeah, it popped up and thought it was cool, and then I saw her her like cover of His Favorite Christmas Story, and I like those two songs are like really like I get like special for me. So I'm like, man, it takes a lot whenever you start covering like songs that like other people regard as like really good, because it's easy to like mess them up or kind of like push fans away. So
Well, you and her obviously listen to a lot of the same music. So that works in her favor.
me and Grace,
Yeah.
we're on a first name basis. So Miss Graber.
Well, I guess we're gonna have her on the podcast soon. Then,
who knows? She might say yes.
yeah, you never know. Well, what I like about this is it is something that's new and that's current, and so it's fun for us to be able to talk about something like that. I hadn't really had much of an exposure to her. I remember, I think a while back you told me when the single was out, but maybe not the EP to this, because it was actually already in my Apple Music library, the Everything You Ever Wanted song when it came out. And so I remembered listening to it, and then I had heard the Lemonade cover. But being able to sit down and listen to this EP was something new for me that I hadn't done yet. And so it's fun to get to hear like a 2026, what is pop punk in the year of our Lord, 2026, or 2025, I guess, technically. But so it's fun. I'm excited to dig into it and talk through this with you guys. So you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about track 1, Pressure. Jordan, why don't you lead us in your thoughts?
I feel like I like it. It's very much like a reminiscent song. And it kind of reminds, like, I think it sort of reminds me a little bit of Flyleaf, but I think it's just the like waily guitars on it. I really like the guitars, and there's one part where it's like everything backs out and then it's just guitar and it's like, I like that part. Yeah. That's all I got for that one. I didn't make a lot of notes on this one.
Jordan was too busy enjoying the song.
Yeah.
Brandon, what'd you think about it?
Yeah, I really enjoy this. I feel like the approach to like a release being a concert like really fit this, because this kind of made me think of like at Winter Jam you have these, or they used to, I haven't been to Winter Jam in probably 10 years, but used to have these like new artist spotlight. They would have like 15 minutes.
Right.
So they have to cram everything they can into that show. I feel like it does a really good job of, from the bat, I'm like, yeah, I'm enjoying this. I really like the intro. It feels genuine too. Like it doesn't feel like it's, let me just do this because people are like applauding, or oh, no one else is doing this. I can go grab, like it feels as though she's like, this is when I step behind a microphone or whatever, this is the music I want to make.
Yeah. The first note that I have on this is that I like her voice. I think it fits well with what she's trying to do. I did note on this that it felt more pop than punk. But later on, those big guitars kick in, but they're not really punk rock guitars. They're more just like rock guitars. And so, but I do like those guitars when they kick in. I think the strings are cool. The production's good. I think it fits really well with when you're talking about pop punk. I mean, you want something that's like pretty well produced, that's pretty slick sounding, and
Yeah.
so I think it fits really well. But there's also some creative elements happening
Yeah.
along the way. My favorite thing about this song is the line, "Every day's a step on the stairway to heaven." I just thought that was a cool line. But yeah, I liked that.
I like that one too.
Yeah. Next we move to Run. Joel, what were your thoughts on Run?
Yeah, so this is more pop punk feeling. I feel like we're in the genre right now. I think that the pre-chorus and the chorus to this one are cool. Really good melodies that are happening there. There's a lead guitar that kicks in after the first chorus that I thought was cool, and then like a drop to just guitar and vocal like during the second verse, which was just a cool change. And so I thought there were some cool creative elements at play. Here's the thing about pop punk, like it's really easy for it just to kind of all run together and feel samey. But she does enough like creative changes to like keep it fresh on a song like this. And so I enjoyed it.
Maybe
Yeah.
you, Jordan.
I liked it. I liked her vocals in it. I feel like they were a little bit more like pop punk sounding in this one, and I like how like just the whole idea of how like she's running, like at first she was running away, but now she's running to God.
Yeah.
And even like through all of the sweat, like she says, the sweat on my face, you're still there for me. And just how like it's about a struggle, and a lot of artists, they want to like make the song that's like, oh yeah, I don't struggle because I know Jesus. Or it's like this whole big thing of like, yeah, I struggle all the time because I'm following Jesus.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is kind of like middle of the road, where it's like, hey, I've struggled, but I also have goodness in my life, because it talks about like, I'm going to breathe and run to you just like on the first day that I believed in who you are. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that she changes up a little bit, and I was kind of laughing to myself because my notes, it autocorrected. So this is what my notes say. This may be unpopular, but pop punk can be receptive.
What?
What I meant to say is repetitive. So I don't know if it's unpopular opinion.
Not
but
unpopular.
to be
I think I said the
receptive.
same thing.
But so I appreciate the changes when you aren't being like fed the same recipe over and over.
Yeah.
Because like I said earlier, I feel like a lot of times, like when it works, it's such an incredible genre. But other times it turns into, and I mean, there's been bands before where there'll be like 4 different bands, and I think it's one band because of how their stuff sounds. So it's kind of like if someone was to ask me what's the difference between band A and band B, I wouldn't be able to tell them, other than, well, these people are from Canada and these people are from Michigan, or whatever. But yeah, I felt like it was really cool to have that little bit of change, so you don't start getting tired of hearing it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. It's a good one. All right. Well, track 3 is the cover and the title track for the EP, Everything You Ever Wanted. Jordan, what'd you think about this cover?
I loved it, which I love the original. Hawk Nelson is a favorite of mine. I feel like I've always loved Hawk Nelson, but I liked this take. Is it better? No. But is it equal? Yes. I would say it's right there with the original. I liked the almost like the screams that are on there towards the end, which I think it's like the guy that's on their audio file.
Yeah.
I've never heard of him, but maybe I would like him. I need to look into him more. But like the screams at the end, I really liked that. And I liked that I don't know, it was more punchy than the original. I did like that. But I feel like I like it as equally as I do the original.
Sometimes when you hear a cover of a song that you know well, it's interesting how it can bring like new life to it in ways that you haven't thought about it before. And so I think for me listening to it, I mean, I knew the Hawk Nelson song too, and I always enjoyed that song. But I think even listening to this, it made me like appreciate that song even more because I'm
Yeah.
like, this is a great song.
Yeah.
Like a really standout song that Hawk Nelson wrote, and I think this is a good great cover of it too. It doesn't stray like crazily from the original, but it fits with like the production of the record, which the production of this is much different from the production
Yeah.
of the Hawk Nelson album. And so it's almost like it's bringing it into a new era, but still keeping like the things that made the song
Yeah.
good, the song. And so I liked that. And I noted the screaming at the end too, because I'm like, hey, we're getting a little edgy here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also really enjoyed the screams to say right at the bat. I think it's so tough to cover such an iconic song, and I think with this song, it's kind of in that same group as a like a Dare You to Move by Switchfoot. Like you just have this group of people that they're like, this is my song. Like this is and. I think those songs are because that's the same way. Like a Dare You to Move, like it'd be so hard to like recreate that song and have the fans that grew up with Switchfoots to love or to think that it's better or the same as. But I think that they did such a good job of keeping the heart of the song while putting a new spin on. You know, kind of echoing what y'all said. I think the screams work well, and I think that the like multiple voices, it was cool because, like I said, it reminded me of this is the song that when you're in person, you have songs like "Friend Like That" people are singing, but like this is the song that you have people like in tears, being like, this is my story. And so I think that just there's something cool about having voices because I think back to like. I think I keep referring back to like Dare You to Move. I feel like that voice is like, if you had different people like singing with it, it would add to it as well. So I think that the having like two different vocalists on it does a lot for the track. And then we move to our final song on here, Better Now. Joel, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is my favorite track on the record. It's cool because when you think about what the album is like she's coming out of a hard season. And from what I could learn about Grace Graber is she's done a lot in the world of like faith and mental health.
Yeah.
And that's a big theme for her and her music. And so I felt like this was a good cap to the EP. Since this EP is like coming out of a hard season.
Yeah.
It's not that like, oh, everything's fixed and perfect.
Yeah.
But there's hope in it still that things are better now because she can just realize and trust that God is her hope in the midst of a tough season. I thought the chorus was great. I love the palm muting that's happening. It feels very punk rock. There's a great lead guitar that's at work here. Obviously, track number 3 Everything You Ever Wanted might be like the really standout track of the record.
Yeah.
But as far as like the original songs go on here, I think this one is my favorite of them. So
No. I would say Pressure is my favorite, but I did like this one. And I feel like this one was very Reliant K-ish. I feel like the sounds of it reminded me of like some old school Reliant K. But I liked the message of it of like, I've been in a dark place and I felt like I had no hope at all, but now I'm starting to realize, no, it's okay. God's on my side, but it's still like she's not there yet.
Yeah.
She's better, but she's not there. And so I think just like saying, hey, it's okay to be processing and working through the thing, because we're all on a journey. We all have a story to tell, and we're getting there day by day. So I like that message.
It's good.
Yeah, I really love the chorus of this song. Like I was telling Jordan last night, I was like, I just feel like this is like, I could be having the roughest day, but this song would just like lift up my spirits. I also really like that she like ends with this, because it's kind of like I go back to like the whole concert like example. Like I feel like if I went to a concert and a band ends with a cover of another band, I kind of think that's how we're ending, is you just saying, hey, we did some cool stuff, but nothing beats what, this band did like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think that just the layout of the EP shines so much, because I definitely think this EP would not be as good if this song was at the beginning or,
Right.
whatever. I think, like y'all said, there's this really cool kind of shift in this journey. And yeah, I think kind of moving into thoughts about it, I think that this EP, to be so short, it covers so much. Like, it's kind of surprising me how much she was able to fit into only 4 songs. Is I feel like there's nothing here that's like repetitive. Like I'm getting 4 different songs and all. So yeah, I feel like that was a really, really cool way to end the EP.
I feel like, to touch on like song order, I feel like that's such a big thing with this EP, because it's like you start off with pressure. It's like I have all of this pressure on me and I feel like I'm crumbling under the pressure, but then I'm gonna run away from my problems, but also I need to run towards God.
Yeah.
Because he can handle that pressure. But then also I kind of teeter back and forth between the comparison game, because I want to be everything that you need, but I know that I can't be, but I'm going to try. But then it's like you have that realization that you don't need to be everything, and things are going to get better.
Yeah.
Better now.
Yeah.
So I feel like it tells the whole story of like mental health, and how like you can just like finish the EP and then start again, because I feel like we constantly go in that circle of like we start to feel the pressure and then we run away and run towards God, and then it's just like you can continue to do it over and over again.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think that I'm thankful that this was my first like exposure to her music in any kind of like form beyond like just listening to a song, because I think it worked really well for me, especially in short form. And I think now I'll be ready to like listen to something a little more lengthy from her, just because I was able to enjoy getting that kind of brief nature of this. And I think that if the first thing that I listened to would have been a 12-track record, then it probably would have like worn on me after a little while. And I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed just like these 4 songs together, which I thought were all like pretty strong. And so the fact that it's short, I think worked for me as an introduction, especially. And so I'm going to go ahead and give this a 4, because I really enjoyed it. And, and I'll be excited to dig into more of her music along the way and see what comes of it. So, yeah.
I'm going to give it a 4.2.
There you go.
Yeah, I like it. I feel like it's a good introduction to who she is, and I feel like it tells the story of like an album basically, but it's like a condensed form. So yeah, I feel like she covers a lot in it. So yeah, 4.2.
I think so I thought a lot about this because like me and Joel talked and I'm like an album's got to be 10 songs. You automatically get points off if you're not this. And honestly, I think that an EP could never kind of get above like a 4. Like I think in my scale, because it's just to me like it's hard to say, okay, this 4-song EP you did is on the same level as this 13 song,
Sure, yeah.
album.
But you have to rate it as a 4-song EP.
Yeah.
I feel like,
So I feel like taking your advice on it, I think for me it's 5 stars. Just because like there wasn't anything about it that I felt like I could like nitpick and like change, or there wasn't a song that I feel like didn't like. I feel like this EP does like even just the weird rules I have about like what if this was a concert, because I'm like, if this was a concert I would be delighted for this to be the opening act. So yeah, that's what I'm going with.
That's cool. Is that the second 5-star rating on the podcast ever?
Grace Graber, Gable Price and Friends. If your band starts with a G, so if we ever do any Garth Brooks stuff, get ready.
Garfunkel.
Brandon so far has given out the only 2 5 stars. And so I
Just wait till that the Eugene Peterson album.
the what?
Is it? Am I mixing it up?
Eugene Peterson is a writer. I don't know.
Oh, I'm forgetting the guy's name. He
What's
did the Rich Mullins
Oh,
thing.
Andrew Peterson.
Andrew Peterson. That's
Yeah, sorry.
One of them Peterson boys.
Yeah, no, I don't think I would give that a 5, but one of these days a 5 for me is coming. So we'll just have to be surprised and wait and see when it happens.
It'll be a random, like unexpected album that you give 5 stars.
Maybe.
Maybe. I feel like that's one thing I appreciate is that like both of the things so far that's gotten a 5-star has been released in the past 2 years. And I think that for so many people, they hear like these older albums we go through and they're like, well, that's when music was good, like the 90s or the 2000s. And I feel like it's just such a testament to like there are bands out there now that are producing like amazing stuff. And I just look at like even our top 10 list. Like I recommend people listening to that because I mean, I feel like there was like 1 or 2 albums that were on the same, but I mean, there was like 8, I would say probably 8 or 7 of the albums you listed. I'm like, I've never heard of that person or I've never listened to that album.
Yeah.
And it's just like cool to think that that's, a combined 17 or 18 albums that last year that both me and you were like, you need to go listen to this.
Right.
It's that good. So I feel like that's cool. Just kind of looking at how there's still good music out there.
Yeah, I do love that too. And I'm really excited for what is to come this year and what new might pop into our ears that we can enjoy along the way. So let's talk a little bit about the lyric of the week.
It's time for the lyric of the It's time.
Our lyric comes from Pressure. It is, the pressure I'm under takes my breath away every single day. I've lost all my wonder, but I see your praise in the simple things,
That's
like
cool.
that.
Yeah.
I really like the I've lost all my wonder line. I feel like that's just been a thing I've heard a lot recently is like how we're losing our wonder. So, yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
It's easy for us
Yeah.
to forget.
I mean, I think it's just like on a Sunday morning, you think about how like many times you miss like the little things.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah. That's really good. That's such a key idea because I do think that we forget not just the blessings that we experience from God on a consistent basis, but we lose the wonder of the gospel and the good news of it. And so, it's always a good reminder to us to be able to hone in on that. So it's really good. Jordan, thanks for joining us again.
Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure. I'm thankful that we get to invite you on for these pop punk and whatever else.
Hey, I love pop punk, so and I love talking about it.
That's awesome. Anywhere that you want people to come and find you on the interwebs?
Ooh, I thought you were just gonna say come and find me. I have Instagram. I am Jojo the Wizard 257. I'm on Facebook, Jordan Lorick, and I'm on TikTok too. I think I'm Jonolo 257. So check me out
She'll be on the Tonight Show this Thursday.
with musical guest Grace Kramer.
I will not be joining you on TikTok, but
You know,
I'm pretty sure I follow you on Instagram or friends on Facebook, so it works
Yeah.
out. So,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. Well, we're super excited that you were able to join us for this episode. You, again, can find us on Facebook at Hey Are You Listening, at Hey Are You Pod on X. Don't forget to send in mail. We would love to answer your questions online. Just email heyareyoullisteningpod@gmail.com with your questions. Subscribe, leave us a review, and we will look forward to talking to you again next week.
Hey, are you listening?